Happy Tuesday. It is day 2 of Encouragement Week, and I am roaring ready to go again today. Yesterday was a fabulous day, and I felt encouraged all day long, starting the day out in such a positive way. Makes the rest of your day good. So we're going to continue on today. We're going to stay encouraged. This is going to be the best week of your life. So we are going to talk about someone in the Bible that needed a lot of encouragement because the tasks before him and the weight put on him was tremendous. Well, there are several people in the Bible this happened to, but this is one of the founding fathers, you might say. Okay, so we're going to talk about Abraham, who started out as Abram. So he's minding his own business, doing his thing, being a good guy, and God comes to him and he says, guess what? I need you to leave. I need you to leave your home. I need you to leave your father's house, your relatives. I need you to leave your land and just do what I tell you. Now, wow. And Abraham, well, at this time his name was Abram. He was 75 years old. Can you imagine at 75 years old, someone telling you, guess what? Everything that you have acquired thus far, all your, everything, your family, everybody that you've been hanging out with, I want you to just pick up and go. And we're not talking about go jump on a train or an airplane. This is literally pick it up and start walking. But these are not an empty request. God promises him, number 1, I will make you into a great nation and I will bless you. Number 2, I will make your name great and you will be a blessing. Number 3, I will bless those who curse you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. Pretty sure a lot of us might have wanted to apply number 3 to our lives at some point. Number 4, all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Wow. All people on earth, not everybody in your community. All people on earth will be blessed through you. This is a lot of weight to carry. How in the world am I going to do that? How am I going to be a great nation? It's just basically just me and my wife and my nephew Lot. I mean, I don't even have any kids. I'm 75 years old. I don't have any kids, and now everything I've accumulated in my entire life, you want me to just pick up and walk away from it. Yep, that is exactly what I want you to do. So, Abraham, being a man of faith, he takes off. Now, you notice there's Abraham. God changes his name from Abram to Abraham after Isaac is born. But since everybody knows him as Abraham, during this time that I'm talking about, his name is actually Abram. But I'm just going to call him Abraham so that we're not confused. So in all right, so we're in Genesis chapter 12. Is where this story is. Verse 1 is where God tells him to get up and go. Verse 5 is when he picks up and leaves. Now, he left and he headed for Canaan, and he made it there. Keep in mind, at this time, the Canaanites ruled over all of this. So, he moved on over to Bethel. And what does he do? It doesn't say that he moved into a nice house over there in Bethel. It says he pitched his tent and he offered a sacrifice. Now, for me, I'm a fan of camping, but for a lot of you, that would be a horrific idea to leave everything and then basically you're just traveling around pitching a tent. But he did. But there was a famine in the land. God's made him all these promises. It is not looking so good for him. There's a famine, so he travels on to Egypt. They're literally going in search of food. And when he gets there, he realizes, you know what? My wife is gorgeous. She is just beautiful, and these men are going to want her. And in order to get her, they're probably just going to off me and take her. So he comes up, he devises a plan that he thinks will work. He says, okay, look, his wife's name's Sarah. When we get there, you just tell everybody you're my sister, then they won't kill me. Seems like a good plan, but it backfired, because when they got there, the palace guards saw her and they saw how beautiful she was, and they said, well, you know what? We think Pharaoh's gonna like her. So they say, let your sister come with us. Uh-oh. So she does. She goes on off into the palace with the king. But this was actually a blessing in disguise in some ways, because God knew it was Abraham's wife. So he did not allow Pharaoh to actually touch her. But what he did instead was cause disease to hit the house. Prior to all this, Pharaoh was so excited to have Abraham's sister that he made him and his nephew extremely wealthy. Gave him a lot of gifts, gave him a lot of stuff. So anyhow, God causes diseases to hit Pharaoh's house, and Pharaoh says, whoa, 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 what's wrong here? And he figures out that this is Abraham's wife. So he sends her back. He apologizes to God and to Abraham and sends them packing. So they get to take all their goods with them. All right, so we're moving on. Abraham is still struggling a little bit here, but he's doing everything God tells him to do. Now, God has still promised to make him a great nation, and here he is. He's getting, in his 90s, and he still has no kids. How am I going to be a great nation? How is the entire world going to be blessed through me? And chapter 15, verse 1, and this is going to be our theme verse. The Lord came to Abraham and he said, do not be afraid. I am your shield, your very great reward. So you might say, well, why'd you tell me this whole story just to tell me that? Because I want you to understand exactly what Abraham is going through. We think our problems are big. We think what we're dealing with is tough. And I'm not saying that it's not, because we do. This world is a hard place to make it. But if God can bring Abraham through all this and still encourage him and tell him, don't be afraid. I'm your shield. You know what a shield is? A shield is what they took with them in battle. Back then, they didn't have tanks. They didn't have fancy stuff. They had shields that they built. It's a big piece of whatever metals or whatever materials that they had, and they would hold it in front of them when they go into battle, so that the arrows that are hitting them, the clubs, the swords, everything that's coming at them, it protects them. And that's exactly what God is telling him. I'm your shield. I'm protecting you. Every time the enemy throws a blow at you, every time somebody aims an arrow, I'm protecting you. Every time somebody swings a sword to chop your head off, I'm here. I got you. I'm protecting you. And in addition to that, he says, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I got you. And that is what we have to remember today. That is our thought. God's got us. He is literally our shield against the world and against everything that gets thrown at us. My time's up and I gotta go. I will see you guys tomorrow.